This is Barry here with you on Monday, the 16th day of March 2020. Thanks for joining me here in the studio on a wet Monday evening, and thanks for watching my first YouTube video for the autumn and winter series, which is kicking off now instead of next week. Now, in the second part of my Northern Beaches Hospital report and experience, which will be coming up later, I'd like to talk about not assuming that you are not sick to go home after the test that the doctor has done has come back negative, and so have your blood. Patients should never assume that they are not sick enough to go home from hospital, because Northern Beaches Hospital is not a hotel. It is a hospital for patients like myself. And I learned that from my experience back in 2003 when I went back to Mona Vale Hospital for a minor issue and had a CT scan. I assumed that I was not well enough to not go home, and the doctor said that I was fine and asked me why I did not want to go home. This was the Mona Vale Hospital back in 2003, and the doctors got annoyed about that, which I don't blame them one bit. I was treating Mona Vale Hospital as a hotel back then, and I should not have done that. Another thing I would like to point out, that that patients should never argue with the doctors or nurses or talk over them or raise their voices when doctors and nurses are trying to explain something to the patient, and especially when the doctors have made a decision for the patient to go home, like they did with me on Friday afternoon after my last test at the hospital. This was called an MRI. Now, I don't know what MRI stands for, but they put you in a machine, guys, and take lots of photos. And after I was given the all clear to go home, the doctor gave me the discharge forms and the medication to take when I went back home to Oceana, and then this guy called Adam discussed with me about having another test, which will be on the 1st of April, so in a couple of weeks from now. This will take place on the Wednesday, on my one-on-one day. So just repeating the points that I have raised, you should never argue with a nurse or doctor when they are trying to make a decision. We as patients, like myself, should respect the doctor's decisions when they have been made. And, and if the doctor says we are well enough to go home, they will arrange the discharge papers and the medications from the chemist. And don't ever assume that you are not well enough to go home because, like I said, if the tests come back negative, okay, and there's nothing wrong, then the doctor will make a decision for him or her to go home, just like the guy did at the hospital on Friday. And I did not argue about it, because where does arguing get us? Well, I can tell you right now, it doesn't get us anywhere. So, would you treat Northern Beaches Hospital as a hotel? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't dare treat Northern Beaches Hospital like a hotel. It is there for patients. Now, I would like to talk about my experience at Northern Beaches Hospital. Last Monday, I was really sick with acute tummy pains. They started at 11 o'clock on Monday at my workplace. I came home and then the ambulance officers came and took me up to Northern Beaches Hospital. It was just after 7 o'clock last Monday evening, to be precise. The ambulance officers were great. They asked me whether I would like some Panadol, and I said no thanks in a polite, calm manner. The staff and I worked as a team, and the ambulance service were great organising the ambulance, and the paramedics were great. And upon arrival at Northern Beaches Hospital, the staff were really great. The ambulance officers stayed with me until a bed was allocated to me in the emergency department. I had a cannula put in my arm by a man named Jack. He was one of the doctors up in the emergency department. Now, a cannula, like I mentioned in the first part of the video, is like a needle that goes into your arm. Okay? And how the staff do that, you must have good veins so that they can get the cannula into you. The staff had no trouble getting the cannula in, and then I stayed in emergency for a couple of hours, and then I was transferred to level 5, and that was my base for the next couple of days. I had a lot of blood tests done, and they were all good, and and a CT scan where they put cold jelly on the stomach like they do when a woman had a baby to check what's going on. And I had to fast for the test. I couldn't eat anything because if I did, it would have made it hard for the staff to see what was going on in my stomach and finding out what the exact problem was in my stomach. And I'll take a break. So, as I said, welcome back. As I was saying, if I ate anything before the scan, it was made very hard for the, the doctors to see what was going on in my stomach. And this is why I was off work last week. So, my experience was great up at the Northern Beaches Hospital. The emergency staff were great. The nurses on level 5 were great. And I really did enjoy my stay up there even though I was sick. But that didn't stop me from having my positive mental attitude. Before you go home from the hospital, guys, like I said in the first part of the video, make sure that you have all your belongings with you, including your toiletries, all your clothes, your books, your laptops, that sort of thing. And another important rule before you enter the hospital, make sure that you sanitize your hands. This is most important because you don't know what germs are lurking around in the hospital, especially in the emergency departments. Always sanitize your hands before you leave the hospital too, because like I've just mentioned, you don't know what germs are lurking around in the hospital. In concluding my Northern Beaches Hospital report, just going over this again, please show respect for the staff at Northern Beaches Hospital if you are a patient in there. And don't raise your voice, yell at the doctors and nurses, or argue with them because the staff there at Northern Beaches Hospital are there to be respected and to try and give you the best care that they can and to resolve the problem. And this goes when you are being treated by the ambulance officers. Do not argue with them. Do not raise your voice at them because the ambulance officers are there to give you the best treatment possible and to make um, solutions to rectify the problem and decide whether you need to go to the hospital the hospital or not. So, thanks for watching my Northern Beaches hospital visit. And before I do go, on Thursday I will be having surgery there. And if you had surgery in the morning, you must fast from midnight, because if you wait after midnight, your surgery could be cancelled. And on that note, it is time to end my Northern Beaches Hospital report. Thank you to all the staff there on level 5 who looked after me last week, and the Irish stew was great there last week as well. So on that note, guys, from me, Barry Fair, thanks for watching this video about my Northern Beaches Hospital experience, and see you next time, and enjoy your shifts up at Northern Beaches Hospital. You guys treated me well. On that note, it is time for me to draw a line under this video and say good night and thanks for watching.